Everyone these days is striving for success, striving for money, likes, follows, Bugatti, Lamborghinis, clout. Everyone wants to be famous. Everyone wants to be rich. Everyone wants to have lots of money and cool things, cool cars. They want to go to cool places. They want to have that picture of them with the Rollie and the Gucci and the Louis and the whatever, the Balenciaga, I don't know, all these brands. But there is a wise few among you that understand that happiness, tranquility, peace of mind, these things are way more important, because most of these people striving for all these things don't have happiness, which is that nice feeling we all want. So if you're part of that wise few that value happiness, your own happiness, and you see that as important, well, I've got the video for you. Today's lesson is how the Stoics, 7 ways in which the Stoics achieved happiness. So this is 7 ways you can become happy or happier in 2024, according to the Stoics. So welcome back to day 20 of 100 Stoic School with the Everyday Stoic. Myself, William, author of the Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life. And today we'll be saying 7 Stoic ways to be happier in 2024. I cannot guarantee your happiness, but if you actually do as I say and you listen to the words I say, I'm 99% confident you'll be happier. Today's episode is powered by Huel. Let's jump into the episode. So, number 1, be grateful. Gratitude. Gratitude is one of the biggest keys to happiness. I remember a long time ago, I wasn't very happy. I've told this story a lot, but I wasn't happy. And I was going to work every day, not happy, and telling myself why I wasn't happy, convincing myself, I shouldn't be happy. I'm earning £12 a day. I'm working ridiculous hours. I'm breathing in all this brick dust. I'm getting ill. I'm getting a bad back. I'm ruining my body. I can't work on my own passions, or I can't work much. I'm getting back too late, and I'm not sleeping. I can't be happy. I'll never be happy. And I used to keep telling myself a story. I'll never be happy. I'll never be happy. I'll never be happy. Convincing someone. I was convincing myself. I don't know why. But the truth is, I know a lot of people feel like this. You're trying to convince someone why you can't be happy, why you don't deserve happiness. Surely not me. And the reason we do that actually is to convince ourselves that it's okay to stop trying to get happy, because happiness can be hard. It can be hard work, but it's worthy work. It's worthwhile, I promise you. So what I started doing, I remember hearing Tony Robbins. He said, swap your expectations for appreciations. And that right there was one of the best things I could have ever heard. So I did his exercise. He did this gratitude practice. And you think of 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're excited for. And I'd be on my way to work and I'll think, what am I grateful for? And I'd think, and it felt a bit fake at times, but I'd think, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the coffee I just had. I'm grateful for this. And you don't just think, I'm grateful for this. You feel it. So for 5 minutes, you think on these 3 things and you feel, man, they make me feel good. I'm glad these things are in my life. And then you think of 3 things you're excited for. Oh, I'm excited to see my friend. I'm excited for the coffee I'm going to have. I'm excited for lunch, whatever. And you think, I'm actually so grateful for these things. It's amazing that these things are in my life. And in no time, you start to rewire these pathways in your head. This negative self-talk starts to become positive self-talk. And instead of greed and want and negativity, you start to have gratitude, happiness, positivity, balance. So be grateful, number 1. Number 2, to be happier in 2024, focus on what you can control. I've spoke about this quite a lot during Stoic School, the dichotomy of control, the things within our control, the things outside of our control. So I'll explain that outside of our control is the external world. And focusing on these, trying to control these, trying to monitor these and have a grasp over these things, the way people behave, people's opinions, the weather, the news, the traffic, all these things you're trying to grab onto, trying to hold, and you're trying to keep yours. They are not yours. That is the universe in flux. The universe will just change as it does. It flows in ways which we cannot control. And you don't control this. And trying to grasp onto all these things will stress you out, will get you down, because they'll never, ever go your way. Or once in a blue moon, it goes your way, but then the rest doesn't go your way. And the anxiety from trying to hold on makes you sad. The missed expectations from things never going your way makes you sad. So focus on what you can control. You. The inner, the internal world. You control it. The way you respond to everything. So if someone does a certain thing, you got to go, I control my inner works. I control how I'm going to respond to this. I'm going to respond in a positive way. And it's difficult at first. It's difficult because we have our impulses to react in certain ways, these knee-jerk reactions. But the reasoning mind, this powerful tool we have, can go, bad weather, it's raining. It's not bad. It's raining. I don't mind. I like the smell of the rain. I like the sound of it hitting the window. Who cares? My plans will just change a little bit. Or maybe I'll just go walk out in the rain. You control how you react to the external world. That is what you control. You control you. And when you start to understand this, you start to worry less. You'll start to be happier. It's amazing. Number 3, do good. And do good to others. The Stoics, this was one of the most important things in Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, it was believed that there was no greater cause to strive for being a good man. It was greater to strive towards goodness than it was towards greatness. And the thing I mean about this is a lot of emperors strive to be great. They strive to be these grand figures, like Emperor Nero, Vespasian, all these emperors that it led them to ruin. And they wanted to be so great. Commodus wanted to be so great. They took part in these things that made them seem great, these delusions of grandeur. And it led them to ruin. They started doing bad things to prove their greatness. Marcus Aurelius, which is very incredible that he did this, he strived towards being good. That was the most important thing. Being good, not great. And I think a lot of men get lost, and women get lost in this pursuit of greatness. They lose themselves. They miss family time. They miss being a good person because their goal is the greatest thing ever. Vanity, says Marcus Aurelius, is the seducer of reason. Vanity is the seducer of reason. The more important we think our goal is, the more under our spell we are. There's no goal greater than being a good person. So, do good. This will make you happier, no doubt about it. And I'll tell you why. You do good, it makes you feel good. You help someone, it makes you feel even more good. I've got this rule. So when I was younger, I had this thing. I would go on, if I ever felt down, I'd go on Reddit, on a subreddit called Made Me Smile and Humans Being Bros. And I'd look at the good people are doing in the world and I think, what can I do like this? And I'd try to do something, and nothing ever as cool as what they did, but I'd like wash up for my mom or make someone a meal, cook dinner for my family. And it made me feel good. But then now I've got a new thing. Is when I feel a bit lost. I mean, I do this every day, but it helps me. It's like a rule I always stick by is I go on a walk with my dog, my daughter, and on my walk, I'll pick up litter and I'll clean the park. And I'm doing good for the dog, giving him exercise, good for my daughter, she's getting out seeing stuff, doing good for myself, I'm getting exercise, getting fresh air, I'm doing good for my local community. And there is nothing so key towards my happiness than that. Towards just doing some good. And this isn't everything, just being a good person will make you happier. It's a fact. But that does not mean that sometimes sadness comes along, sometimes worry and difficulty comes along. But overall, you start to get that balanced sense of happiness. A quick word from our sponsor, Huel. I really like Huel. When I was writing my book, I was using Huel to power me through every single day. When I had my daily greens, when I had my meals, when I had my shakes, it stopped me from going to the shop, buying a load of rubbish, buying a load of unhealthy food, wasting loads of money. And these things do add up. Those quick journeys to the shop every day, the money adds up, the unhealthy foods add up, the wasted time adds up. So if I ever get those cravings, I grab a Huel and it fills my cravings. I feel good, it tastes delicious, it's quick and easy. And if you have any interest in the Huel products, then check the link in the description. Let's get back to the episode. Number 4 to be happier in 2024 is to do less. Bruce Lee said, hack away at the inessential. The closer to the source, the less wastage there is. We are growing up in a culture of consumerism. We want more, more, more. And we believe by attaining things we'll gain happiness. This is actually, it's a lazy mindset. It's this way we've been taught that if we want happiness, we can obtain it and acquire it by paying money. And, we want a new hat, we want new glasses, we want a new TV, we want a new car. We get that, we get happiness, instant happiness. Happiness takes work, it takes character, it takes you doing the good steps every day. But we've learned these new cheat codes where we just pay for happiness. This does not last long. It is momentary pleasure. And it will lead us to sadness and emptiness. By buying more and more things, we try to fill our lives, but we've become more and more and more empty. But also these things that we now own us. Does that make sense? There's emotional weight attached to all these things that when they start degrading, when we start losing them, when they start falling behind, when they're no longer the new item, there's a better item, they start to affect our mental health and making us feel sadder and feeling like we lack something. So, like Bruce Lee said, start taking away things. You don't need to strive towards that thing. You don't need to impress that person. You don't need to follow all these accounts. You don't need that new item. And once you start to hack away at these things, you start to get closer to the source. You start getting close to your internal works. Things are more quiet. Things are more peaceful, serene, tranquil, happier. You're more free. Things that the Stoics advocated for, tranquility and freedom and happiness and being good. By getting rid, you start to get. Number 5, don't seek external approval nor admiration. Especially with social media, we're growing up in a culture where we place our happiness on hold until we impress others. And I remember I was speaking to my friend one day, who he was sad. He was down for a long time. He lost his happiness. He lost his ability to get up in the morning and be so proactive, do all these great things that he wanted to do. And he figured out how he lost it, why he lost it. He said because of social media. He was no longer living for himself. He was living for other people. He no longer did things, his impulses to do something fun, like go for a hike or watch a movie or cook a dinner. He was no longer doing these things because how does that impress social media? How does that get likes? He was now living to get likes. And this led to his sadness, and then deleting that app led to his happiness. So we're living in this culture where we're trying to impress people and we're seeking their approval. We won't do that certain thing or wear that certain clothing or act a certain way or travel to that certain location or do this kind of deed because we're worried what other people will think. So our imagined approval from other people dictates our own happiness and the way that we live. So start to focus on your own approval. Be the person that approves your own lifestyle, your own happiness. The next one is to realize, this is number 6, realize that you have everything you need. This is something I love about Stoicism, is the Stoics believed the thing to strive towards is being a good person. Simply put, I mean, there's a word, eudaimonia, human flourishing, and there's lots behind it. But simply put, it's towards being a good member of society and being a good person. This was their ultimate goal, the telos of Stoicism. So, Marcus Aurelius, who was the king, the emperor of Rome, the philosopher king, and then Epictetus, who was a slave, they both sat on equal grounds. They were both equal because they both had the equal amounts, the equal rights to being a good character, which is the most important thing. Because back then, they believed, and maybe some people still today believed, that this gift, this reason that humans have, was a gift from Zeus, handed out equally to every single human being on earth. So all of us are equal in that sense. Doesn't matter where you're born, what wealth you have, what success you have, what family you're born to. All of these things are just externals. The important thing is the character. We're all equal and we have everything we need. This internal works, this internal world, that's what's important. We have it. and we can make our life from that. The last, seventh thing the Stoics would do to be happier in 2024 is to embrace adversity. We've all heard the quote, easy times make weak men, hard times make strong men. And I believe that by running away from adversity our whole life, because it's a fact we all face adversity, as the Buddhists say, suffering. Life is suffering. It's a fact of life that suffering exists. We'll all face adversity, and people try to run away from it and try to run and cower away from it their whole lives. But that adversity that they're running away, whilst they're running, is actually making them suffer as they're running, because the fear, the anxiety, the worry about this thing that they're running away from, it causes suffering on and on and on. And also makes them weaker, makes them cowards. And the Stoics advocate for courage, not cowardice. Cowardice is bad, courage is good. So as you're running away, you're suffering, and eventually these things will catch up to you. And when they catch up to you, you're now a weaker version of yourself because you've spent your life running. Embrace courage, embrace adversity, and this will lead you to happiness. It will lead you to strength and growth. And remember, growth and progress is something humans love. It makes us feel good. Stagnation is what humans don't love. So that is it for episode 20, lesson 20 of 100 Stoic School with the author of the Everyday Stoic. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to this on YouTube, 70% of you listeners are not subscribed. So subscribe and hit that notification bell. Apple podcast, 40% of you are not subscribed. 40% of listeners are not subscribed. So subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm doing 100 Stoic lessons every single day. And the goal is by the end of day 100, you know everything there is to know about Stoicism, and you'll know how to apply it to your life to become a Stoic. Thank you for listening. And if you want to support me, give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe. And if you really want to help, you can leave a review on my book. The reviews are amazing on Amazon or Goodreads, or invite a friend or loved one to Stoic School. You could help me and you could help them. Thank you and have a beautiful day.